A jury just delivering guilty verdicts against all three Georgia men facing federal hate crimes charges in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Here is a closer look at the counts they were all facing. Travis McMichael, his father Gregory McMichael, and their neighbor William Bryan, all convicted of violating Arbery's rights and attempting to kidnap him. The McMichaels also convicted on firearm charges. All three were already convicted of murder on the state level and sentenced to life in prison for chasing Arbery down in a South Georgia neighborhood and shooting him. The verdict coming almost 2 years to the day that Arbery was killed. Hope Ford was in federal court in Brunswick as those verdicts were read this morning. Hope, it was a really emotional time, but a very shocking show of emotion from someone inside that federal courtroom.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, this jury deliberation, it went by very quickly. It was about 3 hours and 46 minutes altogether. And when the jury came in, it was definitely quiet in there. So quiet that you could hear those benches creaking and pages turning of reporter notebooks in there. But the defendants, they really didn't show any emotion at all whenever that verdict was announced. Travis McMichael, the only one to show a little bit of some sort of response. He lowered his head at one point when that first guilty verdict came in. Wanda Cooper Jones, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, she shook her head in agreement as the verdicts were read, but mainly kept her eyes looking forward. Marcus Arbery, Ahmaud's dad, he celebrated silently by raising his fist after each of those guilty verdicts were read. Now, there were less tears from the family this time around, but there were tears from another person that you mentioned, including that the only black male juror. He was selected as the foreperson, and he maintained composure as the verdict was read, but then he started crying, wiping away tears whenever they were asked if he gave his verdict, vote for the verdict willingly. He also cried when the judge acknowledged how difficult this case was for everyone, including the jury. Now, I talked to Paige Pate about that, and he says that was probably an intentional decision to appoint him as the foreperson and a very strong message to send.
The federal government said, look, this is a priority. We want to send a message that not just the murder was wrong, but the reason they did it was wrong. And so I think, given the makeup of this jury, the fact that it comes from a mostly conservative South Georgia district here, rural people, some small town folks who got together, and even with that background, even with that conservative bent, found that this was just too much to tolerate, and they would not let the racism go unpunished.
Now, Wanda Cooper Jones, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, she left the courtroom after the verdict. She did not acknowledge or speak to the prosecution at all. And I want to bring in my colleague, Dawn White. Dawn, she had a very strong message when she got downstairs for the DOJ.
Well, that's right. Wanda Cooper Jones expressed her displeasure with the Department of Justice. She said that herself and also Marcus Arbery, who's Ahmaud Arbery's father, that they had rejected the plea deal from Gregory and Travis McMichael in this case because they wanted all of the racially charged text messages, social media posts, and witness testimony to come out so the world would have a chance to see how the three men were really like. And Wanda Cooper Jones said that the DOJ wanted to go ahead with that plea deal, and the family had to continue pushing for it. She spoke out about that. Marcus Arbery said that his son will not be able to be replaced, that he misses him every single day, and he thinks about him. And let's go to some sound now that we got with the parents about 10 minutes after the verdicts.
What we got today, we wouldn't have gotten today if it wasn't for the fight that the family put up on January the 31st. What the DOJ did today, they was made to do today.
Come on.
It wasn't because what they wanted to do. They were made to do their job today.
I'm thanking everybody who that stood by us in this time, what my family going through, losing Ahmaud. Because Ahmaud was a kid you can't place. Because the heart he had, that will be missed by him. He loved his family. He called us every day. If he had but one word to tell you, guess what that was? I love you, Pops. Yes. I love you, Mama. He always told you that. Now these times you don't hear that, I'm struggling with that every day.
And tomorrow is Ahmaud Arbery Day in the state of Georgia. That is to honor and remember Ahmaud on the second anniversary of his death. There's going to be a lot of walks going on here, including one the family is organizing that will be in the Satilla Shores neighborhood. Hope Ford and I will stay here and continue bringing you team coverage throughout the day.
All right, Hope and Dawn, thank you for your hard work there in Brunswick on a very historic day, this marking the first hate crimes conviction in the state of Georgia. We're going to have much more reaction from Brunswick on 11 Alive News at 5 and 6. You can also watch the full interviews with Arbery's parents reacting to the verdict on 11 Alive's YouTube page right now.